It was over 10 years ago now, but it was an exciting and hopeful time. As a young family with a 5-year-old daughter, it was time for us to get a puppy. Officially, the dog was for Jess and for Valentine's Day. Still, the puppy search was really something each of us was taking personally and felt was partly their own. Eventually, we all agreed on a boxer and 2 final candidates. A beautiful, traditional-looking girl named Milkshake and a tiny black boxer with white spots, a runt with slightly lopsided head that included a bump in the center. We just knew it. That little baby needed our love. And yes, now I know there's no such thing as a black boxer. She is really just very heavily striped. As a reminder of why I moved to Arizona, our new family member had to be flown in from Louisiana. The flight kept getting delayed over and over. The excitement would build and build, and another damn snowstorm would come through. It ended up being like 3 weeks or so of delays. Finally, and what stands out to me as the most fantastic day of my life, everything was just right that day. We drove down to the airport and reported to the pickup location. In one of those plastic dog crates sitting all the way in the back was the cutest, gosh darn little puppy you have ever set your eyes upon. We loaded the little baby on the cart and our daughter rode on top so she could hang her head over the side and watch the puppy the whole time. That little girl's smile was the biggest I may have ever seen it be, ear to ear. Eventually, we let our daughter name her, so officially that name is Moo Moo Sunshine Spot with a snowball on top. Wood. AKA Mugu Gaipan, the dog from Louisiana, but most often referred to simply as Moo. And good thing she was a homebody, because going around and looking for her would be quite interesting to observers as we go around yelling, Moo! 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 Moo only left our side once in what ended up being a terrible morning for me. I was using an air nail gun, and apparently she hated the noise and left the house, but I did not know and assumed she was with our daughter. But she was not and had been left outside all night. And she, poor thing, must have gone exploring because all of her little paw pads were worn completely raw. But in typical Moo fashion, we found her at the park with a little girl and a boxer puppy dog. But this darn dog had the worst time with health issues. And I'm the type of person that swore I would never be paying thousands of dollars for an animal's medical care. Well, we are at least 25 grand into medical so far. For the first few years of her life, she had a terrible diarrhea problem. She's allergic to this and that. She used to love to eat couches. Both of her knees are surgically repaired with metal bindings holding them together. And she has the common boxer heart problems. She also has a tumor behind her eye that will need removal when the doctor says it's time. Then most recently, she went from 54 pounds to 45 pounds. She had apparent heat exhaustion twice. And she had terrible diarrhea once again, like when she was a puppy. She had multiple seizures. I stayed up with her for nights where she would rapidly breathe and couldn't just figure out what was happening. And I would console with whatever this duress that she was in. The vet was looking at needing to put her down. He could not find anything in her blood or traditional tests. It just seemed like she was heading for system failure. And we all really thought it was just her time. She was on medicines that should be helping, but they were not. My wife wanted to have an expensive fecal test done that was unlikely to yield results. It was a look for bacteria and other pathogens, and she was on a second cycle of metronidazole, which I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, which would have been the treatment for any of those issues. Surprisingly, the test did come back positive for a bacterium, so we had something to look at to get rid of. This whole time, she's been having these issues. I was searching incessantly in the medical literature for this mysterious sudden decline in Moo. I had already been deep in trying to find alternatives for treating the tumor behind her eye, and when to actually do that surgery. It is challenging because it could be a mast cell tumor, in which case the surgery is a great call, but that seems to be about 10% or less of cases. The vast majority of the cases are cancerous and come back much more aggressively after the surgery if any cancer cells are missed, which is also likely to occur. Pre-surgery, the tumors are rather unpredictable and can just stop growing. So the potential cure is also the potential fuse. The point of telling you all this backstory is that we love this dog. She is us. This could all be that tumor being cancerous and spreading, or it could be that these are all separate issues. And I began to research and treat as if they were separate issues. So what is being done with mysterious diarrhea? Ignore the other matters for now. I found the craziest thing. As my work in my field of science is also revealed to me, a lot of excellent solutions are well established, and no one seems to care. I found research that treated unexplainable canine diarrhea, irritable bowel-like symptoms, with Psyllium Husk, or more commonly known as Metamucil. The treatment was highly effective for most of the dogs. Some dogs could eventually come off the supplement, but many, I think most, could not. Then I researched the use of Psyllium Husk in general, and I was baffled. Why the heck are we not using this ourselves, all people, as a part of life? Just go look at it. Hit the Googles, hit the Bings, hit the DuckDuckGos. For most people, the benefits are solidly proven. What do we have to lose treating her? It was nothing but fiber. I began by trying to put it in her water. No dice. Then I bought the pills, but she hates pills, and she had to take like 10 of them. We had her switch to eating nothing but boiled chicken breasts, because that is the most digestible food for a dog, or so they say. And she was eating 4 to 5 pounds of chicken per day. It was a ton, and it seemed like a ton watching her eat it, but she was happily eating it, and that's all I've really cared about. And it seemed to be helping her, but the diarrhea actually saw no improvement. A family member broke open those Metamucil pills and put them on her chicken, and then she ate it, no problem. It took only about 24 hours, and the diarrhea was over. Her stool became very gelatinous, but it was solid, and it slowed her system back down. The more you gave her, we went up to 10 grams, the larger the stool you would get. And from my observations, the Psyllium slowed things down. It allowed the antibiotics to work, in addition to what appeared to be a level of mechanical removal. That's the best way I can put it. The larger stools moved out some discharges that were not fecal matter. That's all I can say. During the Psyllium treatment, and with constant contact with the vet, we had a final test conducted that was available that did not require sedation. I forgot to mention that the sedation for surgery is extra risky because of the bad boxer heart. The final test was a sonogram and was after about 4 weeks of boiled chicken and 1 week of Psyllium treatment. Psyllium, whatever. The fiber. Moo weighed in at 51 pounds for the surgery, a shock to all of us. We wanted to rule out any tumors blocking pathways or other things that the vet was looking for. Then the sonogram was completely clean, along with the weight gain and her symptoms so far. This reinforced both my and the vet's confidence in following the course we were on. And Moo is an old dog. Dying of natural causes would be no surprise at her age. Maybe these symptoms are like dominoes falling when something starts to go downhill. The Psyllium Husk leveled the system back out and allowed her body to put the dominoes back up. It is quite possible that whatever triggered her initial diarrhea is still there, but is not showing up in anything else as long as we keep the bowel issues under control. We're currently lowering the amount of Psyllium Husk to see what happens. But Moo is essentially improved and under control. Her current weight is 53 pounds, and her whole life was 55. And she gets a little bit of a tire around her neck when she gets to 55. So I think 55 might be a little too much, but that's kind of where she typically was. She looks great and has her usual loving demeanor. She has no seizures, has not had any heart issues, breathing issues. She's eating and drinking normally. She was taking Pepsid AC because of like an acid reflux kind of issue where she would upchuck a little bit, and she's off that now. Currently, she's on the Psyllium and a cycle of Tylosin, a lower dose antibiotic. And we're trying to switch her from the chicken to the prescription science diet, which is going well. She loves that chicken, though. And the chicken, obviously, as we were saying earlier, makes it easier to give her the psyllium fiber. Ultimately, this has been like a miracle for us, and I think more people should know. Before you give up on a dog with digestive issues, try the Psyllium treatment. And if you just want to try and start it for yourself in lower daily doses, you should. I take it now every day, 10 grams or so. And a final note from what I've learned so far is Moo and I are using this Viva Naturals we found on Amazon, and it is rather negligible in cost for its benefits. It's $20 for a bag. But whatever is different about the process, Metamucil and the Walgreens brand, Walmucil used, because we had both, it is significantly more palatable. The Viva Naturals is kind of thick and gross, but it is cheap and works. Taking the Metamucil pills is an expensive but easy method. I will update everybody on the issue to see what's going on and monitor on our progress and continue watching. But for now, continue watching this video for a hilarious video my daughter and I made of Moo, so you can see this little beautiful creature that I feel I've been truly blessed to have be a part of my life. Thanks. Be safe, guys. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.